they're really helping our people. They're really helping us because their flats are affordable. And then my kids, they can also play, and then on weekend they can play outside. As you can see, there is a green grass, they can play. And then I love this place. And then I'm saying the founder of the East Housing, forward, create more houses, create more flats for our people to have place to stay. Thank you.
Yes, City Housing is committed to transformation and empowerment. Currently on this Thembelihle project, we have 22 black-owned companies that are contractors and subcontractors, and 8 black women who are subcontractors on site. And we're looking at moving towards a greater transformational process on our various projects that we are initiating. The current project that we have at Thembelihle should be replicated in other areas. The strategic plan behind this project is important to show the rest of the city areas what we can actually do.
We say empower ordinary South Africans who currently don't have, they are not necessarily highly educated, they don't necessarily have high paying jobs, but they want to own assets that are meaningful for their families, and they want to own these inner city assets. We think it can be done, we know it can be done. It has been done in the past, we've done it in the past. So we're saying we need access to that sort of fund to assist those entrepreneurs. TAF is a company that's been around for years. Like I said, we have a 14-year track record. And we have funded over 44,000 units since our existence.
I actually saw this area, the time when it was blooming and the time when it fell down. And I think this place will actually bring up, you know, the property values of this part of town, of CBD. And all I can say is thanks, because a few years back, my brother got marked actually on this corner because of the environment before this place was here. So now the place is here, it's safer, and like I say, it's going to pick up the value of Pretoria again. And thank you very much.
Part of the benefits of us investing in the inner city, of course, is the contribution to regeneration. As we know, regeneration is not something that will happen overnight, because obviously the city took long to get to the state that it's in. But you can start to see pockets of improvement because of the consistent investment that we're putting in the inner city.
I think we have to respond to the call of the National Development Plan. Transformation is a challenge for all of us. We have to respond to the obligations that we all have in respect of what the Constitution demands of us. We know where we are coming from, and we know what the challenge is.
For us, a critically important thing, because it means that social housing doesn't just do the job of shelter, it also does the job of helping to transform areas, helping to use government investment alongside other forms of private and government investment to make areas better, and in the process of doing, to ensure a space for people who are on low and moderate incomes. NASHO is the Federation of Social Housing Organizations, and those are the organizations who are responsible to facilitate the development of social housing stock, and also to take on the long-term management, which is very, very critical if we're going to make the government's investment work over the longer period. And the mandate of our organization is really to help build a strong and sustainable social housing sector that can provide good quality rental housing for people on low and moderate incomes in well-located parts of the city. And the reason for this is because historically South Africa has had a very divided type community, and what we're wanting to do is to make sure that people have greater access to the social and economic resources of our larger cities in the country.
So it's the Shra's job to make sure that when the Consolidated Capital Grant is committed, and contracted that we measure those commitments and those contracts against predetermined targets. We can now do that. And the reason that we can do that is that in the most recent State of the Sector report, we have been able to quantify that across the entire country, there's actually demand for 300,000 affordable rental housing units, social housing units. And we are able to quantify where the demand is from one province to the next, from one local authority to the next. Success breeds success. If we can see breakthroughs in certain areas, it will breed confidence and we'll get more applications, and then it'll all happen.
We ensure that we can properly invest in this and ensure that we can also, most importantly, regulate the sector in such a way that social housing plays a facilitative or maybe an incentive, a critical role in developing the entire social housing community.
We also have recently approached the Shra to assist with the capacitation through what they call the Capacitation Grant, to assist the SHIs to get the projects ready so that they are not having to come up with funding up front to get their projects to a state of readiness.
We're currently managing 1,003 units, and in the pipeline we have 492 which has been pre-approved by Shra. There are 4 projects, and that project consists of about 492 units, which we plan to pro in the next 2 years. We'll build that for that 492 units. You basically looking at your mandate. Your mandate is to assist the poor, and you are able to draw a line between a private landlord and a social landlord. The social landlord, which has got a responsibility to ensure that we build communities. Building communities is more than providing a shelter.
This thing, some of the partners are silent partners in this, but they benefit anyway. So the city benefits through this. Government as a whole, in terms of National Treasury's pockets, it benefits because suddenly money is getting into these municipalities where buildings are now being upgraded and services being paid for.
There are a number of different partnerships that we need to have. So the partnership between the Shra and an organization like NASHO is very important. But there's some which are absolutely critical. And I would say the most critical partnership is the strength of partnership between the social housing institutions and the municipalities, because that's where the delivery actually happens.
eThekwini municipality has also taken some very broad steps towards the regeneration of the inner city. I think we must have set for at least 18 months trying to plan for the local area plan, what we call the LAP. In some instances they call it the master plan of the inner city, which is aligned to the regeneration of the inner city. And we've also identified social housing as one of the catalysts for such regeneration to take place within the inner city.
I think over the last year or so, we are now in a position where we can respond to quantitatively or qualitatively, quantum leaping the development of social housing by all the stakeholders.